As an entrepreneur, nothing plagues one more than the question of whether the company is making progress towards success. Progress is often measured by making sure the work proceeded according to the plan, was of high quality, and did not exceed cost. Still, it doesn't matter if the product is on time or budget as long as it is something that is desired by the customers. If that were not the case, it would only mean that time and work was wasted for a useless and undesired product. Even if that's the case, people still learn. As the author mentions, learning may be just an excuse for a bad execution. However, learning is a cold comfort for workers who follow an entrepreneur into the unknown. It is cold comfort to the investors who allocate precious money, time, and energy to entrepreneurial teams. It is also a cold comfort to organizations that depend on entrepreneurial innovation to survive. The point with learning is that learning isn't taught on a bank, nor it can be invested on. No wonder it has bad name between entrepreneurs. The most vital point of starting a business full of uncertainty is learning. We must learn the truth about which elements of our strategy are working to realize our vision and which are just useless. That is why, in the startup model, we use with a validated learning, which opposes learning to hide failure. Validated learning is the process of demonstrating empirically that a team has discovered valuable truths about a startup's present and prospects. In the early days of the lean startup, the most common questions are, what should we make and for whom? What market could we enter and dominate? How could we build durable value that would not be subject to erosion competition? As an example, the founders of IMVU tried to enter the instant messaging market, a market that was already dominated by large companies such as Yahoo and Microsoft. These networks gain value by acquiring new users, which means that a network's value is determined by the number of users in it. For example, telephones are only useful when everyone has them. It would be such a waste if only a person owned a telephone. The struggle with the instant messaging is that people can easily transfer to another messaging app without convincing all their friends to switch with them. Therefore, the customers are only focused on one app and are not willing to change. At IMVU, they settled on a strategy of building a product that would combine the large mass appeal of traditional instant messaging with the high revenue per customer of three-dimensional video games and virtual worlds. Because of the near impossibility of bringing a new instant messaging network to the market, they decided to build an instant messaging add-on product that would interoperate with existing networks. The add-on product was so large that they had to cut a lot of corners to get it done on time. As the launch day approached, the founders gave in to the fears and postponed the launch. In the launch day, but nothing happened. Their fears turned out to be unfounded since nobody even tried their product. The lack of numbers in its users list forced the creators to do personal interviews to their possible customers. The author mentions that he did realize their mistake, but he was the last to admit it. They figured it out empirically, through experimentation. Customers couldn't tell them what they wanted. They barely knew anything about 3D avatars. Instead, they revealed the truth through their action or inaction as they struggled to make the product better. Talking to customers out of desperation, the IMVU founders brought some potential customers to their office. They realized that their main target were teenagers, heavy InstaMessage users, while the others would think that IMVU is way too useless and weird. Then it was discovered that the users didn't really want to use their app because they were not sure if it was good or not. Moreover, the customers wouldn't recommend it to their friends. Thus, IMVU developed a new feature where people could chat with other random people. This tactic proved fruitless, since said process could expose real user information. In due time, the developers realized that the customers didn't want to incorporate their real-life acquaintances into the app. They didn't want an instant messaging app. They wanted to make new friends, and the 3D avatar feature was perfect for that. Throwing the work away after all the months of work, The product needed to be thrown away. The first idea resulted to be just a squander of work, time, and money, all of which could have been avoided if the developers had realized their own fundamental mistakes. In other words, which of our efforts are fruitful and which are wasteful? Well, lean thinking defines value as providing benefit to the customer. Anything else is waste. Customers don't care about how a product is made. They only care about its function and its benefits. But in the startup, that much is unknown. The quantity of squandered effort can be minimized only by improving according to the client's needs. As the author understood his customers better, he was able to improve his product. As he did that, IMVU's numbers started growing. This wasn't because they worked harder, but because they worked smarter, which meant to be aligned to their customers' needs. In conclusion, the amounts of work dedicated to a product can only mean failure if it is not aligned with the buyer's needs. Learning about your customer is a vital task to gain success.